This is going to be a very scary video, and here's why, guys. One thing I don't like about finance and the entire industry is that everyone thinks that finance is absolute and one rule applies to everyone out there. So that's why cough, I don't agree with Dave Ramsey most of the time. Okay, now the concept is, guys, in this video I'm going to break down if you should invest all your money while you still can right now, or start investing, well, saving for retirement while you still can also. So which method is better? Should you save for retirement, or should you just like invest all your money while you still can right now? Now, it sounds very risky for the average person, but to me in this video, once I break down 3 scenarios, you'll start to think a lot more different. Now, if you guys don't know me, my name is Ty Bryson. I'm an accountant, and I upload videos on YouTube every single day. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified, and do me a favor and smash that like button, okay? Now, here's a question for you guys right now, okay? What are you currently doing right now? Are you saving for retirement, or are you investing all your money while you still can right now? Comment down below, let me know. And if you ask me, guys, if you guys don't know, the average person in the US has a lifespan until they're 78 years old. By the way, in Canada, people live until they're like 82 years old, which is like 4 years more, but who cares about that? I don't want to live in Canada, so that's the entire point. I live in America right now, but the concept is, guys, okay, if you're going to retire at 65 years old, you only have 13 years really of retirement to start living up your life and going on vacation every single day, and that vacation hotspot for most people that retire is usually the hospital. Now, I want to break down some little details right here before I tell you guys those 3 scenarios to whether you should save your money, invest your money right now, or just save for retirement, okay? Now, the first thing is this, guys. If you guys don't know this, if you're going to retire at age 65, the average person these days start working at around maybe like 22 to 24. Tell me, no, they start at age 18. No, I'm talking about people with a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. Bachelor's degree, 4 years, master's degree, 6 years. So again, 18 plus 4 years, that's 22. 18 plus 6 years, that's 24 years old, and they start working in their careers now, okay? So basically, if you're going to retire, for example, at 65 years old and you got a bachelor's degree and you started working at age 22, that means you have at least 43 years to actually work on your career. Not that bad at all. And again, if you have a master's degree, well, let's do some quick math again. 24 minus 65, that means you have 41 years to work on your entire career. Now, let's assume here for one moment that the average salary for a bachelor's degree is around $50,000 dependent on the career, okay? And you keep that same salary for the next like 43 years. And for your master's degree, let's say you make $60,000 for the next 41 years. Not that bad at all if you ask me. But the concept is this, guys. If you want to maintain that same lifestyle until you retire, until you actually go away from this planet in 13 years after you retire, well, that means that if you're gonna live for 13 years after you retire, because the average lifespan is 78 years old, that means the quick math doesn't lie, numbers don't lie. That means that 13 years times $50,000, well, guys, that number is around $650,000 that you'll need for at least 13 years of retirement. But if you're actually making $60,000 a year and you want to maintain that salary, well, that means that $60,000 times 13 years, well, that's around $780,000. Now, you might say, Tommy, that is a ton of money. How do I get that? The answer is, usually the conversation is, well, you save for retirement, but later on, I'm going to unveil and expose that most people don't even have a quarter of this money by the time retirement actually rolls around the corner. So if you want to save for this money, there's 2 things you could do, right? You save for the money, and let's just say like, oh, you're not investing it, you're not putting it into a high yield savings account, you're not doing any of that stuff, okay? You're just saving for that money for the next like 43 years or 41 years, okay? So for example, if you're saving for $780K at a $60K salary for 41 years, well, when we divide this number right here by 41, that means that every single year, you're gonna have to save around $19,000. And for a person with a $50,000 salary that wants to retire with $650,000, well, that number is closer to around $15,000, okay? For example, $650,000 right here, divided by 43 years of work, well, that's around $15,000 you need to save every single year for the next 43 years to actually retire with $650,000 and be able to live that same lifestyle until you end, until you're like around 78 years old, unless medicine comes through and you got like an AI in your brain and then blah blah blah. But the concept is we live in reality right now, so let's talk about the entire world we are in right now. By the way, guys, if you were to invest this money without having to like, just like keep it on the side, if you invested 15K every single year at a 7% interest rate, well, that would add up to around, believe it or not, at a 7% interest rate, will add up to around $3.7 million. And if you were able to save, for example, 19K at 7% interest rate for 41 years, that would add up to around $4.07 million. But most people, they don't do that and they don't care about that stuff because, hey, I don't have enough money to save up and I can't invest money. So in this video, let's break down exactly what these numbers mean. So now we know that if you have a bachelor's degree or master's degree, it'll take between $650,000 to $780,000 to live the same lifestyle you live right now, okay, after you retire for 13 years, because lifespan is only 78 years, okay? Now, we understand that. Now, let's break down exactly every single scenario and how to actually make it happen. Now, person A, guys, scenario one, person A, is the most risky person according to society. Now, this guy decided that, hey, you know what? I don't want to save for retirement. I want to take all my money, invest in myself, into real estate, into my own businesses, and doing ventures out there that create more passive income streams for me. Now, for this scenario right here, there are only really two options, okay? According to society. The first option is, well, he makes it. He gets into real estate, he has his own business, he makes money, he lives off the passive income, he retires early, and everything went fine. Now, scenario two, according to society, is that, hey, he didn't make it. It didn't go well for him. And now he's 65 years old with no plan B, living in his car or in a shelter, and now his entire life sucks. But in reality, guys, the truth is, option number three that people don't tell you about is that nobody fails at a business for 43 years straight. Usually, they try it out for like 1 to 2 years. It doesn't work out and they don't like it anymore. They go back to a normal job, because the truth is, your normal job will never really go away. It'll always be there. So if you try to do a business, real estate, it doesn't matter, because you can always go back to your normal job. No problem there whatsoever. And that's why I don't like the concept of absolutes when it comes to business, finance, or careers, okay? Because careers can always be there. For example, guys, I have an accounting degree. I just have my own business now, okay? And basically, whenever I want to, I can go back to my accounting degree and have a normal job out there. But the concept is, I don't want to. And if I wanted to in the future, I could always do that. There's no absolutes whatsoever when it comes to finance and your future. Now, person B, scenario two, is basically a person that does both. He invests for retirement and he also invests into his businesses, real estate, or into whatever he wants to do, but he does both at the same time. And that's, to be honest, what I currently do. Guys, every single month I invest around $500 towards my retirement, and to me, that's the best thing, because through experiments, I found out that I work best from a place of comfort and not really thinking about like, oh my gosh, if I fail right now, I'll be like screwed over. No. I like to think about the future and having a plan A and guaranteeing my success no matter what. So basically, by the time I retire in 43 years old, according to society, because again, I never plan on retiring, the concept is, if I invest $500 every single month at a 7% interest rate, by the time I retire in 43 years, I should have around $1.4 million on the side. By the way, if you don't know, the dividend payments for an investment of that magnitude, of that size, well, $1.4 million times 0.0235, because my dividends, I calculated it, is around 2.35%. So again, I'll have around $32,000 dividends only without touching the money, and that money is enough for me to live on, to be honest, because again, I don't plan on changing my entire living style. By the way, this is just extra money. I still plan to continue my business no matter what, so it's just extra cash, okay? Now that's my plan, but two options here. Two things can happen with this entire idea of mine by doing both. Option A, my business goes well, I keep investing money, saving for retirement, and everything goes amazingly. And by the time I retire, I'll have around $1.4 million, but I'll also have a successful business worth way more than maybe $100 million, okay? Now, to me, that sounds like a great thing. But second thing is this, guys. My business fails, everything goes to crap, and in reality, I go back to my normal accounting job and I still save for retirement, and I'll still have around $1.4 million by the time I retire, because the key is always living below your means. And I never plan on raising my entire, like, oh my gosh, I make so much money, so I'll raise my expenses. No, the answer is I always want to keep that same mentality I had when I was making $60 a week 4 years ago. Now I make a little bit over $15,000 a month, and I save around 5% of my income towards retirement. In the future, in 2020, I will be increasing that to 10%, so that'll be a lot more money. So again, $15,000 times 0.10%, that'll be around $1,500 every single month towards retirement. And that's going to equal somewhere around $3.9 million by the time I retire. If I continue that, but every single year I plan on increasing that number. Boom, 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 boom. And this should be, like, my goal is, to be honest, around $11 million by the time I retire, and just have it there sitting just because I wanted to, okay? Just to have a lot of leverage. That's my plan in the future. Now, person C, scenario C, is the person that's the most risky, if you ask me, and the most guilty person in the state, to be honest, and is someone that goes out there and barely invests into their 401k or in their savings, doesn't really do anything, and his entire plan is basically like, hey, if I retire, I get Social Security, and if anything, I'll just go to Walmart to become a greeter. However, they cancel that job, so now he's working at your local. You had 43 years to figure it out, but you still didn't, bro. So what happened? Now, only one thing can happen with this scenario, guys. Only one thing. I'm sorry to say this, but only one thing, and here are the facts, okay? According to Fidelity, the biggest one, well, one of the biggest investment funds out there, well, according to them, the average person between 60 to 69 years old only has around $195,000 by the age of, 60 to 69 years old, okay? Meaning, you might say, Tommy, that's a lot of money, almost 200K, but in reality, that's not that much money. Now, here's why. We all know after retirement, you're only gonna have around 13 years to live it up at your local hospital. Now, what this means is this, guys, okay? If you take in $195,000, and you might say that's a lot of money, but when you divide it by 13 years, where you're gonna live with no job, well, let's take this number right here. That's around $15,000 every single year that you have to live on. And to me, that's the most scariest thing in the world, but not as scary as when you actually fraction in for inflation. At 2.5% inflation, that $195,000 is only going to be worth around $67,000 in today's money. And to me, that's a nightmare. So people tell me, my parents, your mom, your uncle, your teachers, hey, just save for retirement barely. The answer is no. Don't do it, okay? And that's why I don't believe in absolutes, like, hey, you just have to do traditional thing, okay? Just save money on the side and just put some money here. And then in the end, by the way, guys, what happens if the government goes down? The answer is all these people right here, they're all screwed. I'm sorry, they're all screwed. There's nothing to do about them. It's just messed up. You had 43 years to figure it out, and I don't blame you because no one teaches anyone this stuff. And I know, guys, I didn't talk about, Medicaid, Social Security, all this fancy stuff. I get that. I understand that. However, the main point is this, guys, okay? Finance is simple. And the simple answer here is that, hey, most people out there will not have enough money for retirement, and the answer is, my recommendation is, you have to do both, okay? Also save for retirement, but also at the same time, invest your money to create passive income. That's my number one thing. If you're not doing this, how are you gonna live on $15,000 a year? The answer is, it's almost impossible. No, it is impossible in 2069, whenever that year comes, okay? It's almost impossible. Don't try it, don't try your luck. The answer is save your money now, invest towards retirement. And by the way, guys, remember, okay, if you invest that money into an index fund, for example, by the time you turn 65 years old, that money should almost be around $3.5 million to $4.5 million, okay? And to me, that sounds like a way better number than having around $195,000, which is nothing when you adjust for inflation, okay? So that's my answer there, okay, guys? Now comment down below, guys, and let me know, do you guys agree with me? And which person do you want to be? Person A, B, or C? Comment down below, let me know. And as always, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, like this video, really appreciate it. Also, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notified. And do me a favor, if you want to talk to me one-on-one, just DM me on Instagram, Tommy Bryson. And on top of that, before I go, if you want to watch a full video on how I invest my money currently with Acorns every single month, watch this video right here. I made around 21% so far. And on top of that, click my face right here, subscribe to the channel right now, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, as always, and peace.